Well, hello, welcome back to the Media Man. Sorry, it's not anymore. It's called Jamie Martin. We're going to be here talking about the latest Nottingham Forest news and more with me, Jamie. So it's good to be back. It's been a little while. As many of you will know, I took a very extended break from YouTube um, to focus on a few other things in my life and football and everything else. It kind of takes its toll on you, and I've put a lot of time into other things. Well, I'm glad to say that I'm back. I'm back doing YouTube weekly. Who knows, maybe every couple of days, maybe every couple of nights. When I've got time off from work, I'll be doing a lot more YouTube. And I'm just really excited to be back, to be honest, because it's been such a long time. And I've had a lot of messages, and people know who they are, asking me to come back, and also providing me with a lot of support as well to help me come back. Because it's a little bit difficult coming back after such a long while out, not doing YouTube. So, yeah, I just appreciate you all joining me. This is my first kind of comeback stream. So I know that not everybody's kind of going to know that we're back yet. You'll know that I'm not on Twitter now. So you'll kind of not maybe be able to hear from some places that I'm back. So, yeah, if you can share this stream anywhere, even if it's literally just clicking the share button and putting it on your Facebook or your Instagram or even your Twitter. If you want to put it on Twitter, please feel free. It's just so good to be back. I feel really good. We're going to be talking about all the latest Forest news, my thoughts and more, and also getting your thoughts. Remember, you can call in as well, drop a text, and I'll add you to the stream if you want to give your opinion and let me know what you're thinking. So, how have you all been? First of all, how have you been? Let me know how you've been. Drop a text in the, or a comment, sorry, should I say, in the comments box. Jack, good to see you. Good evening. Welcome to the stream. Greg, good to have you back, my friend. Thank you for the welcome back. It's been a long time. I can't remember the last time I actually did a stream, so I'm going to pull it up on my phone now. So I'm going to go quickly onto YouTube and see how long it's been. Obviously, everyone will know I've been doing a lot of streams for others as well. So it's been nice to also have that platform. So I thank everybody for that. But the last time I did a stream myself was 9 months ago. 9 months. So yeah, it's been a long time since then. A lot of things have changed in my life. And yeah, it just feels really good to be back talking about the club I love, and also just speaking to some of you guys again, because some of you have kind of not spoken to in such a long time. So really excited to be able to come and converse with you a couple of times a week, and who knows, maybe we'll have a deadline day stream as well if we manage to get back from Chelsea away quick enough. I really, really hope so. Eve, great to have you on the stream this evening. I'm doing well, thank you. I hope you are doing the same too. Paul, thank you very much. I'm cutting half my face out doing that. Great to see you back. Thank you very much, Paul. Appreciate that, mate. And Peter, thank you so much. It just feels good to be back. It's been a long time, as I say. And please do like and comment. And if you haven't already and you're new to this stream, please subscribe as well. I'd really appreciate any new listeners that want to come and join. It'd be great. We're going to try and aim for that 1.5k in the subscribers mark. We're gonna create a revolution on here, because even though Twitter might not be a thing anymore for me, we're going to start with YouTube, and we're going to come back on YouTube, and it's going to be massive. I'm going to invest in loads of new equipment, and I'm going to just try and have some new video ideas and try a few little different things and see where that goes. So then, let's talk about the biggest talking point of this evening for Nottingham Forest. Now, obviously, everyone will know that Forest have been active in the last few days in the transfer market. And earlier in the window, there was a lot of talk about a certain few people coming, including Callum Hudson-Odoi. That deal is still on the table. I'm sure, as others have said as well. I'm just working on personal terms now, which shouldn't be an issue. He likes Steve Cooper a lot. He worked with him at England level when the under-17s won the World Cup. So there's going to be a bit of pull there. So expect more on that in the next few days. But we're talking about Tavares, Nuno Tavares. Fabrizio Romano says this evening that he's going to sign for Nottingham Forest on loan in the coming days, probably the next 48 hours. He's going to sign with a £1 million loan fee being paid by Forest to Arsenal, and there's a £12 million buy option at the end of that loan for the Arsenal left back. So Forest need a left back, and if anything, a proven one at the top level, because that would really help. At the moment, they've got people like Ola Aina who can definitely play left back. We've seen it through pre-season, but maybe his strengths lie better as a right back. And then you've got players like Nico Williams who can also cover in that area. Obviously, Omar Richards has gone on loan to Olympiacos. But at the moment, Forest have got a lot of right backs. The likes of Montiel, again, Williams, you could probably chuck in that category. Aina, again, you could chuck in that category. Serge Aurier, so they need left back. They need a left back. And now they're going to get one with Nuno Tavares, who, again, is proven at top level in France, hasn't really done much for Arsenal. But at the same time, he's a decent player. And I know people will kind of refer to the FA Cup performance against us when he threw his glove on the floor, and it was a bit of a bad time to watch, really, and he had a bit of a Mikel Arteta. But or as Jack says, it's going to be announced tomorrow, so that's even better. And we'll pay 100% of his wages, so that's interesting. So Nuno Tavares, that's the latest. Then he's going to be coming to Forest tomorrow. Murillo had his medical today. I'm not really sure how that went. I think we're still waiting on people to tell us a little bit more on that. But he's going to be an exciting player. I've not seen much of him myself, but from what I've read on scout reports and other things, he says he's quite a strong defender, good amount of pace, and there's clearly a lot of potential. He's a young guy, played for Corinthians a lot, so he's played at a good level. And a lot of players have made the step up from the Brazilian leagues and done quite well in the Premier League amongst many top leagues in Europe, including, if you want to give examples in the Forest team, Danilo, who obviously came from Palmeiras in the winter. So he's done okay so far. I think he's being played out of position personally, but it's hard to play him in the same place as Morgan Gibbs-White or near there because it's Morgan Gibbs-White with him. So, that's a little bit about Tavares then, and also Murillo. Odysseus Vlachodimos from Benfica. Negotiations advanced €9 million bid. That's what Fabrizio Romano was saying recently. So there's three things there. So your Murillos, Tavares, and Vlachodimos, if I can say it. All these players looking at coming to Nottingham Forest. The Forest recruitment team, since George Sirianos joined back, looking very busy. I thankfully had the privilege to be able to talk to George Sirianos, not for very long, only very briefly, but he seemed very happy to be back at Forest. So he was actually at the last game against Sheffield United, the first City Ground home game of this Premier League season, and he was with Durekas, the Forest sporting director, who was kind of showing him around, and obviously they were working on a few bits as well. So there was definitely things going on that day. That day at the City Ground, there was definitely things going on. But a lot of players are going to join Forest. And I would actually go as far to say, at the moment, I think there could be another 4 or 5 players to come to Forest this window. There could be another 4 or 5 players. There has been links to Batshuayi, Jack. Yeah, you're right. I do believe that will happen as well. Forest have been trying to get him since, obviously, he joined Fenerbahce well before. Because they tried to get him, if you remember, on the deadline day last summer, but they couldn't, and then he joined Fenerbahce. So, or was it? Might have been winter actually. It might have been the winter one actually. They tried to get him in, and they couldn't. So they've tried before. He obviously needed a window or two before he could leave for another club. Forest held that interest for quite some time, but he's going to be eventually coming to Forest. So, Jack, fair play for spelling it as Craig says. As well as you have. But yeah, it looks like Batshuayi could be coming in, which is quite good for us, actually, I think. He's obviously Belgian, which means that he wouldn't be affected by anything like other forwards like Taouani or any other players like Afcon, for example. So there's that depth there. Chris Wood and Batshuayi would be available. So in the forwards department, that's a good move for me. I think he scored like 12 in his last 19 for Fenerbahce. I think I saw a post somewhere saying, don't quote me on that though. But Batshuayi, good transfer. Murillo, good transfer. Vlachodimos, from what I've seen, a very sturdy goalkeeper. Whether he's going to be second, I don't think so. But probably first, but I'm not too sure. Tavares looks decent as well. We need a left back, so that's really helpful. Midfielders, I'm not overly keen on Ndidi. I'll be completely honest. I know what people think about midfielders at Forest. If it's, in my personal opinion, I think Forest needs a stronger midfield, because at Arsenal, we just defensively we looked okay. We held pretty well, but we just needed that link up because there was nothing going forward at all, and you need good midfielders. So Ndidi, I think, is okay, but he's not been the greatest since he had his big injury. For me, obviously, the preferred target would be Ibrahim Sangare, but The problem is, it's whether you're going to get him, because there's top European clubs looking at him. And I don't think Bayern Munich are looking at him anymore. I think Liverpool have obviously moved on. They've got Endo, and they're probably going to go for another midfielder now, like Sofian Amrabat. But PSG may be the only people that are still interested in Sangare. And if Sangare can't get that move to PSG, then who knows? Maybe it paves the way for Forest to go. At the moment, Forest aren't offering the payment structure that is wanted by PSV. But at the same time, if you sell Brennan Johnson like Forest are probably going to do, then the funds are definitely going to be available for Forest to make that sort of move. So, obviously, it's a lot of money. It's going to be about £32 million or something like that, which is a hell of a lot of money for a release clause. But you're talking about probably one of the most, I can't say one of the best, because he's definitely not one of the best in Europe. That'd be a massive overstatement. But he's certainly a very good CDM who is recognised across Europe for being a top talent. So for me, I think a number 6 like Sangare is absolutely crucial to Forest's success this season. If Forest want to succeed, I think you've got to take it up a notch with the likes of Sangare, because unfortunately there is going to be that. I think there's going to be a difficult conversation around Ryan Yates, because Ryan Yates is obviously a player that we all love, and I would have every week in our team. But it's whether it's in that starting 11 capacity. And is Ryan Yates going to be the number 6 that Forest need coming throughout all the season? I don't know. Very good player. Obviously changed the game against Sheffield United. And anyone that thinks otherwise, I would question their opinion on that, because his mentality, his drive, and obviously his fitness coming off the bench was what Forest needed. So for me, Ryan Yates is very good. But if you were to add Sangare into the mix, I think he would be starting. I think he would have to. But Ndidi, on the other hand, I'm not too sure. I'm really not that sold on it, to be honest. And OJW says it's what we need, number 6 sort of play. We do need number 6 sort of play, but I don't know if Ndidi is really what we need. I just don't think since his injury he's been that great. But at the same time, he could rekindle his spirit, and he could actually become a very good player like he was. Because a player's always got the ability. It's just, whether they're in form or not, or they've got injuries, or they've got, other things that are kind of hindering them. So, I think you might probably right, OJW, to be fair. I'm just being overly cautious, as I am with a lot of players before they sign for Forest. And then after they sign, you're demanding that they're in the first team every game. It's just the way that football fans are, I think, a lot of the time. Gordon, good to have you back. Tavares is not needed for me. He's not good enough. Remember last time. I just don't think you can judge a player based off a performance 2 years ago, because that was 2 years ago. A lot of players have changed in 2 years' time, because, a lot of people don't realise that in 2 years' time, a player can completely mature and become look at Ryan Yates. Look at Ryan Yates. In 2 years from when we were, pretty bad in the Championship to getting promoted, he was an outstanding player in that. So in 2 years, a lot can change. And, I think every player has their own little things. But I just don't know. I don't know if you can judge a player based on that one thing. And, obviously, attitude-wise, it didn't show a lot of good. And I'll completely stick up for you on that one, Gordon. But I just think that to judge someone based off that, I think that's too far. Personally. Indeed, he was playing centre-back also for Leicester last season. True. So there's definitely some versatility there. But maybe, as I say, you guys convince me. Let me know what you think about Ndidi down in the comments. Because again, I'd be interested to hear what you guys think about this. And we're going to try and keep the stream going till probably about half 8 to 8:45 kind of time. I'm up quite early in the morning, so I don't want to be up too late. But we'll be able to cover all things during that time. Paul Taylor said we have a 25 million plus 6 million in add-ons offer. It's a lot of money. Obviously, it's a 31 million pound offer, so it's only really £1 million off. But obviously, it wouldn't all be a straight financial deal. So you can understand why PSV would still reject it, even if it was up to 33 million. If the offer's not 32 million straight up, then they won't have it. But that's what I'm kind of alluding to earlier when I said about, PSG, are they still going to make an offer? Because, if they're not going to make an offer, and then Saudi aren't going to make an offer, because I can't imagine it's about money. I do think it's about the quality of the team, because Sangare clearly wants top European football. But if he can't get a better offer, then Forest would be a good. Obviously, I'm trying to sell this, so if you're listening, Sangari, then come to Forest. But on a serious note, Forest are a team that I do believe, based on recruitment that Forest are making, are a team that's on the up. I mean, of course, this season's going to be very, very difficult. But in the next 2 or 3 seasons, why couldn't they do something similar to what Brighton have done? Why couldn't they do something similar to what Aston Villa have done? When the likes of Morgan Gibbs-White have started to really mature and become an even stronger player and more consistent, and hopefully be on an international level at that point. And Taiwo Awoniyi will hopefully still be at Forest and kicking in two goals a game, or the ratios that he does, because he's excellent. So there's an ambition at Forest. The owner is very ambitious. The owner wants Forest to be a European team, but he's under no illusion that will take time, and that he's going to have to invest in funds, structure the club correctly. Obviously, we've got a new chairman now, which probably will help, and then change the way that the club is run, because a successful football team is not just on the pitch; it's everywhere. And like Brighton, or arguably Aston Villa as well, and your Brentfords, teams that are run really well, you have to be brilliant on and off the pitch. So the owner wants that, and he has a lot of ambition. So looking forward to see what he can do with Forest more in the next couple of years. But that does involve staying up this year. So everything has to go into this year. And obviously Cooper's going to have to make sure that he's absolutely, spot on with his tactics, and make sure that he can try and get a few wins with Forest as well. Because at the end of the day, it's going to be the toughest season for him. Last season was tough, but, at the end of the day, this season is going to be the most difficult, because there isn't going to be that leniency of, you've just got to the Premier League, it's all right, we'll give you this season, or, look, it's the last few games, we can't sack you now, or, you just signed a new contract. There isn't that leniency now. This is different. This is your second season now. You've stayed up. The expectation is now move up. We want you to move up 3 or 4 places. Obviously that might be too much that I'm asking for there, but we want you to move up, not just stay up. Because at the end of the day, we're investing a lot of money. We already spent 15 million on Chris Wood before we even bought anyone else. And then, you're doing other things as well. So obviously, they're going to want to see a return on their investment. And if Steve Cooper can't offer that, or can't do that, then obviously changes will probably happen. But at the same time, at the moment, I think Cooper's got it right in the last couple of games, and people will moan about Man United, but very bad officiating was to blame for that, I think, for a good portion of that. Sheffield United, people were moaning about that game, but his subs actually made Forest win that game. The substitutions that came on won Forest that game. He switched to the back 4 and went more attacking when we needed it. So Cooper, again, he's a younger manager. Last year was a learning curve. I think he'll do well this year. But a couple of signings in, and that's what he needs, because you got to remember, Niakate's out, Felipe's out. And then there's a lot of other players around there, and a lot of places are kind of weaker, like midfield, and going forward. Obviously, Taiwo Awoniyi needs someone that's going to provide him with a bit of competition, or also cover as well for when he's not there. In the goalkeeping department, you might also need another keeper, and obviously defensively, we need a lot more as well. So, the owners support him in that. What do you make of the Harwood Bellis links? I've not really seen too many, to be honest. I do apologise for that. I've been out all day, but Harwood Bellis is a really good young player. If you are going to buy Murillo, obviously another young player, I think you are going to need to bring in a defender with a bit of experience. So we're bringing in a lot of centre backs. So it does question to me who's leaving. I could probably see Scott McKenna going out, maybe on loan or something like that, because we're bringing in a lot of centre backs. If you bring in Harwood Bellis, obviously Niakate's injury issues are a big reason why Forest are bringing in Murillo, who's left-footed, because Forest needs someone who's going to be able to play more games. And Niakate's obviously really struggled with injuries since coming to Forest, which is not something he's had throughout the rest of his career, only when he came here. But, obviously Murillo will definitely be good to add to that. And Harwood Bellis as well, again, under 21s captain. He's young. He's got a lot of hunger. He's played a lot of games for Burnley on loan from Man City. So would I be opposed to it? Absolutely not. Mangala has been better than Ndidi. Yeah, I agree, Greg. I agree. I think Ndidi pre-injury was a lot better than Mangala, but Ndidi after this injury has just not been that impressive. So, yeah, Mangala for me is a very good midfielder, and I think we're starting to see the best of him. And he got a little knock in training, so that's why he wasn't available. Steve Cooper spoke about it in his press conference. So he should be back very soon. Wouldn't surprise me if he's maybe going to get some minutes at Burnley tomorrow night, or on the Chelsea game perhaps. So he'll be back very soon. But I won't be at the Burnley game tomorrow, so I'm a bit gutted about that. I'll be in the studio instead. But I'll be back for Chelsea on Saturday. Is it true we're doing a swap deal with Bologna for Freuler and Dominguez? I don't really know. I don't know what's going on with this because I'd heard that obviously there might be some capacity involving two players, but I didn't know if it would be a direct swap. But look, at the end of the day, I'm going to say it now. Freuler is a good player. He plays well in possession-based teams. He would thrive again in Italy. He did it with Atlanta, and Bologna would be making a great signing. And on the flip side, Forest are doing the same with Dominguez. He's a great midfielder. Obviously played with Argentina in the World Cup, and everyone that goes without even saying. But Dominguez is young. He's got a lot of experience again at that top level, and his barrier for potential is a lot higher. So if there was a direct swap, I'd be very surprised. No fee involved, I'd be surprised. Because Dominguez is worth more than the £10 million that we were wanting for Freuler, or that was being offered. So yeah, for me, if that does come about, then you've got to take their offer. But I don't think it'll be as simple as that. I do feel that there'll be probably more to that deal, probably financially than what we're saying at the moment. So would I take it, Gordon? Would I take it, Waka Waka? Would I take it, OJW? Yes, absolutely. Essex Red, hey, good to see you back, my friend. It's been a little while. Do you think we'll get Sangare, you say? There's a sneaky feeling that says yes, because you have that ambition and optimism, because, at the end of the day, Sangare is an absolutely excellent midfielder. So to have him linked with Forest is a massive, massive thing. So naturally, you kind of have that 5 minutes of, hey, this is exciting, we're going to get Sangare. And then you step back and go, plays for PSV, plays in Europe, recently played in the European competition. He's got PSG after him. Bayern Munich had interest and Liverpool did as well. He's a class midfielder, class. But at the same time, we've got to set our ceiling high. And if we want a European top class midfielder, top European midfielder, then why wouldn't we go and get him? Why wouldn't we? Because at the end of the day, if we want him, I think Forest are going to chuck everything at him if there's a possibility that we can get him. If PSG don't make the offer that Sangare, I think, is probably hoping for, or anybody else, then I would probably say that Forest will go out and pay that release clause, or will put in a very high offer for him, because he's at the very top of their priorities. Very top. Very top. And Forest really want him. But obviously, it's a very complex deal to get done. So, do I think we'll get him? I don't know. At the moment, I'm holding any judgment because it does depend on other offers coming in. I think, as Jack kind of alluded to earlier, Jack Keenan alluded to. So, we'll have to wait and see. New chairman. I think he's a Forest fan. He's a Forest fan and he's quite a wealthy guy, runs a business out of Newark, I think it was, I saw, with a few connections in IT. So who knows? There's going to be maybe some sponsorship potential there. Obviously, if he's a well-known business person, dealing with quite high-profile individuals and dealing with global companies, not only will that improve Forest's global profile, but it also gives Forest a chance to have a sponsor. And we've not had a sponsor for a while. I know there's FFP benefits with having a charity sponsor, but potentially he could bring us a sponsor in as new chairman. But we'll have to wait and see, won't we? I mean, Nicholas Randall's done a great job for Forest. He's overseen some brilliant years for us, kept the club running really well. And now it's time to hand the baton over. And don't forget, you'll probably see Nicholas Randall around on a match day still, because he's on the board of directors at Forest now in a non-executive format. So you will be seeing him around anyway. Does the window shut Friday at 12? I'm not too sure because I think it's shut on the 1st of September, doesn't it? At 12. Is it? Or is it Friday at 12? I always forget this. It always gets me. Well, either way, I'm going to try and make the stream. So don't worry about that. Do you think we need more cover up front? I think Brennan does go. I think Brennan will go very soon. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a done deal. This is from what people are saying. But you can just hope that he's hope that he does okay wherever he goes next and whatever. But he's done a lot for Forest, and this is the thing, because Brennan Johnson's done everything that any Forest fan would have dreamed of. Don't forget, Brennan's a Forest fan. He's grown up playing for Forest. He's always been around the club. Obviously, his dad played for Forest, so and they've always, he's always lived local, and to be able to be able to make a big move, and I think it probably will be to Spurs or wherever he goes next. You've got to be proud of him. I just feel proud because I remember talking about, Brennan's doing so well for us in the Championship. We might get promoted, and doing a little vlog, and then going, oh, okay, well, he's doing good. He's great. And then he's like, wow, this kid's going to go far. And the Premier League wasn't easy, but he got 10 goals, and mathematically speaking, I think it was 6 of those goals kept us up. Leicester, Everton, and there was another, and Leeds. Leicester, Everton, and Leeds. 2 wins and a draw. 7 points kept us up. And then obviously Taiwo's goals, massive. But for Brennan, it's like you feel like proud parents as fans of Forest, because he's obviously done so much for us. So if he wanted to leave now or at the start of the season before even playing a game, I wouldn't hold a grudge against him, or nor should anyone, because of how much he's done for our club. He's done so much. He's achieved so much. And as a Forest fan, he's got, Forest to where they wanted to be. And he was so proud of himself, and he's achieved that Premier League dream, something that most ex-Forest players and most Forest fans would just dream of doing. So, if he does leave, fair enough. I wish him all the best, because he's done everything that Forest fans would ever have dreamed of a player doing. And he's given us a lot of happy moments. So, but it's not done yet. So we'll talk about that when it's done. But I'll have a look at some of the comments. I read a piece in, if I can get my face around it. I read a piece in 442 today about management signings. They spend the money before they sell, because you're getting taxed on money you have waiting in the bank. Well, maybe that's the case then. I'm not aware of that. Thank you, Gordon. But I don't know if he's gone yet. As I say, I'm just putting out my message there. But if he does, and it's 40-50 million pounds, it's a huge investment into Forest, and we're going to have to buy players using funds, and we're going to have to get it from somewhere. So it's obviously a massive, massive, massive amount of money for a club like Forest. And I don't mean any disrespect when I say a club like Forest, because I love Forest, but we've never sold a player for that much money before. It's very rare that we've had a player worth that amount of money. You have the likes of Matty Cash, who were the next big thing, who were worth 15-16 million pound, and players like that. But then you take it to the next level, and you're talking about genuine superstars of the Premier League. This guy's going to go and play for Spurs, or any team, big teams, Chelsea after him, and this and this. So you've got to be a good player to be linked to Spurs, despite them not winning trophies or anything, or Aston Villa. You've got to be a good player. So if the money's there, then I don't think Forest can turn that down, unfortunately. And that's just football. That's football, because we don't want to see him go. I'm sure nobody wants to see him leave, but that's football. It's a lot of money to have, and there's a lot you can do with that money. But he's not gone yet, so let's still enjoy the fact that he's a Forest player. Keep enjoying it. Friday at 11, interesting. I'm sure there'll be loads of streams, Forest channels doing it. I'm out that night. Doing something, so I'll hopefully be back in time to do this as well. I'll just have to chuck my Forest shirt on and comb my hair, and I'll be back on it like that. So thank you very much. Very kind of you. Really appreciate the welcome back. It does feel good to be back. It's been so long. It's been 9 months. 9 months. 37 of you in the chat now. If you can all try and get in the comments, every single one of you, if you can, drop a like as well. And if you haven't subscribed already, just subscribe. We are back. I'm looking forward to talking a little bit more about what's going on in the future with this channel, and there will be a lot of new stuff coming as well. As I say, new content. Commentary cams are a possibility as well. I'm looking into. So commentary cams, obviously when I'm commentating on a football match, having my GoPro set up and being able to kind of bring you like little snippets of my commentary, which is a bit more of a personal thing, because as many of you will know, I'm doing commentary now on a Premier League Forest, which is nice. And I'm also, trying to do a few little bit. I've also got work experience at Sky coming up as well. So I might document a bit of that. But the YouTube channel will be getting a lot more content soon. So looking forward to bringing you a little bit more of that. Jack says, apparently the new chairman has had close involvement with the infrastructure and expansion projects. Yes, he has. Yes, he has. He had a lot to do with the plans for expansion, I believe. So having someone that knows what he wants to do with that, and hopefully has a plan to, move the boat people, then that'd be great. Because if he can, get the rowing club moved, or if there's anything they can do to sort that, and then Forest can get the stadium redevelopment sorted, that'd be excellent, wouldn't it? That would be absolutely excellent. So let's hope and pray. But it's a new beginning for Forest. It's a new start. There's an obvious reason that they've wanted to, maybe look at a new chairman. And Nicholas Randall's done a lot for us. It's the average kind of time that someone spends as a chairman for a club usually. So just thank him for everything, and wish him all the best. But he's still a non-executive director, so you'll see him about. Warren, how are you doing, my friend? It's been a very long time since I last saw you. I hope you're doing good. I'm all good. I'm feeling a lot better. Obviously, I had to delay the stream on Sunday because of an illness. I've been really, really bad the last few days. I think it might have been COVID. I'm not too sure. But my chest has only just started to clear up. Just been coughing awfully. I cut myself at work as well yesterday. You probably can't really see it, but I just cut a lump of my skin off. So I was feeling extra sorry for myself for the last couple of days. But we're back, so don't worry about that. We're going nowhere. We are going nowhere. It's time to be back. I've been saying I'd be coming back for so long, and here we are. We're going to cut the stream off in about 5 or so minutes. So thank you all for listening so far. Mark, really appreciate it. Again, thank you to all those that have supported me during the time off, which I just saw as the kind of making of me, because obviously the whole thing with Twitter really threw me off the last couple of weeks. I've been struggling a little bit, to tell you the truth, because obviously everyone will know that I did a lot of my work on Twitter, and people have their own opinion on my stuff on Twitter. But I would just like to say that some of my reports being shared were just kind of complimenting other things that I was doing, and to provide Forest news for people. So we're just going to use all the other channels to do it. If Twitter don't want us, then YouTube will have us, I'm sure. So YouTube, you won't regret having us on, because I'm looking forward to it. Warren, still waiting for my bronze medal? Well, you see, I think a lot of people are now. Still, a lot of people are waiting for medals. I promise you. We've done all right, haven't we? Really, we're back now, and we're going to try and make it as regular as we can. 2 or 3 nights a week would be the ideal, but at the moment, 1 night a week will be brilliant. What do you think to the team tomorrow night? Ooh. Okay, I'm going to draw down my team. So in goal, okay, so just before I do talk about my team, I'll answer this question quickly. So the thing that happened with Twitter was, and you can, there's a lot of people making up rumors. Some people saying I've said something in DMs, or I've made threats to someone, or stuff like that. I just want to say that's just so far from the truth. Because what happened was I uploaded a video from a friend of Chris Wood's goal, and it was taken down for copyright reasons. I appealed it. Twitter didn't accept that, and now they've suspended me permanently, but not permanently, because I can appeal it, which I have. They rejected, and now they're saying I can appeal it. So I actually contacted the company that made the claim, saying that I think they've made a mistaken claim and that I'd like it revoked. That company hasn't responded to me, even though I've called them 5 times in the last week and emailed them on 5 occasions. They've still not responded me. So to Athleisure Sports, I'd like a response. I've had no response at all. And I'm still waiting for them to give me that. So if they can give me a response, that'd be great. And Twitter as well, I'm going to be honest, been really poor in their handling. They've not really helped me at all, even though it was a very honest mistake. I don't know what the mistake was, but it was an honest error. I've never meant to share anything for copyright reasons because it doesn't really. I don't share it for anything other than to share my opinion on that video and the goal. That's what happened with Twitter. That's the truth. So we'll just have to wait and see for now. But yeah, it's not very nice, but that's life. That's life. How many more signs do you think will realistically sign before the deadline? Probably 4 or 5. I think you've got Batshuayi, Murillo, Tavares, Vlachodimos, and then Ndidi or Sangare. So I think that's my 5 there, probably. So yeah, I think 4 or 5, maybe even 6, but I wouldn't go that far. Turner, Montiel, Bolly, McKenna, Williams, Santos, Kouyaté, Yates, Aguilera, Wooding, Malanga. To be honest, yeah, I'd probably say that's right. I think the only one I'd take out is Bolly, to be honest, because I think they're going to try and watch Bolly with his fitness, because we all know that Bolly's fitness-wise is very temperamental. So that team, I would say probably, other than Bolly, just because I feel like I just worry with Bolly, because you've seen how important he is to that defence. I mean, he had a fantastic performance against United at the weekend. And I do think that Joe Worrell and Scott McKenna would both struggle in the Premier League without someone like Bolly next to them, because Worrell and McKenna need a leader, in my opinion, next to them. They struggle without that. McKenna, I think, has really struggled, but he had a better performance at the weekend. But without them, the pair of them together don't really communicate adequately. All right, that's what I found at Sheffield United when they both went up that header. It really, made me cringe a little bit, because I thought, those two are better than that. But they need a leader next to them, like Bolly, like Felipe, maybe even Niakate you could put in there to kind of guide them a little bit more. So Bolly, I would just rest. And then maybe, for that game, you could put Worrell and McKenna because it's in the cup. But yeah, I don't know. It's going to be tough. Michael Lane, can you see Brennan getting another new contract to keep him for the minimum this season? No, I can't see that at all. I think there was discussions about it. I think maybe there was discussions or like a mention, because obviously they're working on contract for Joe Worrell, and also there was one being in the pipeline for Ryan Yates as well. But as for Johnson, I don't think that will happen. So yeah, I don't think it will happen. So the stream's going to be over in just 2 moments' time. Let's have a look. I wasn't too sure to put instead of Bolly as Felipe and Niakate and just coming back. Yeah, that's true. Worrell will be suspended as well, won't he? Of course. So is that for cup competitions as well then, I'm guessing? Right, okay. Well, yeah, if you've got to, then yeah. Or maybe even Kouyaté at back. Kouyaté and McKenna at the back would be adequate for me, and then chucking a different midfielder, maybe Lewis O'Brien, to give him a bit of game time before he goes out on loan potentially. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, the cup. I'll be doing a little thing on Instagram. So if you all want to head over to my Instagram, it's JamieMartin_journalist. Then you can find some of where my social media is going to be. So JamieMartin_journalist, be there. I'll be putting out my predicted 11 and also talking about who I'd prefer to be in the 11 despite my prediction. Last thing then, let's have a look. McKenna's injured. Is he really? So, okay, well, McKenna being injured doesn't really help that situation then. So you're going to need probably, in my opinion, the 2 different centre-backs there then. So the centre-back issue is getting worse. Maybe we do need a few centre-backs. But hopefully Felipe will be back in no time. But thank you all for listening. This stream was always going to be a little bit shorter. There'll be other streams on this evening, so do check them out as well. Support all the Forest YouTubers. Yeah, just in general, thank you all for coming back and listening in, because I was a little bit worried that people wouldn't know that we're back streaming, but we are. So come back this Sunday night, because we will be streaming this Sunday night, and I'm looking forward to bringing you some more stuff. I'll answer these last couple of questions. I don't give out score predictions before the game because I'm super superstitious, so don't be offended, Waka Waka, but I just can't. Appreciate your comment as well. Thank you so much for that. Look forward to tomorrow evening. How are you doing, Bray Dad? I hope you're well. Do you think Hooper will put out a strong side and go for a good run, or give minutes to some of the lads who did well? I think probably good run for people who did all right in pre-season. To be honest, I think like the likes of Huang, who probably won't be registered, and Brandon Aguilera, who will be getting that first team involvement till Christmas at least. So yeah, I think he'll put out a decent side, but featuring a lot of the kind of younger guys. So yeah. Right, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Back on Sunday night at 9 o'clock on Sunday, 9 o'clock Sunday. So make sure you're there, 9 till 10 p.m. I'll be talking the latest Forest news. And there might even be a deadline day stream on Friday night, but I'll let you know a bit more about that in the coming days. So until then, take care. I'm looking forward to seeing you soon. Don't leave. Subscribe, comment, and like, and I'll see you all very soon. Take care. Goodbye.